My name is Sandy Tuohy, and I'm 29. I used to believe unfairness was just weather. Some families live under blue skies, the rest of us learn to pack umbrellas. In our house, storms had a favorite child. It wasn't me. When Emily was born, my parents developed a talent for vanishing the parts of me they didn't want to see. She cried, time stopped. I cried. Be strong. She scraped a knee and got emergency ice cream. I sprained my wrist falling off a bike. If you can walk, it's not broken. Little edits that felt small until they added up to silence. At school, I kept my head down, fingers in wires, and a brain that liked problems. Circuits, code, tiny wins nobody clapped for. Emily shined in spotlights: theater, gymnastics, honor cords, prom-waved hair, and perfect photos. My parents practically rented billboards for every ribbon. Somewhere around 15, I stopped telling them about my wins. When I brought home my first A+ in programming and said it over dinner, Mom didn't look up from her phone. That's good, Sandy. Emily's auditioning for nationals. I remember turning my certificate into a quiet square and tucking it into a drawer. Paper doesn't argue. Work made more sense than people. I picked up summer gigs, fixed neighbors' laptops for lunch, sold secondhand graphics cards to cover books. The first check that felt like oxygen was $300 for setting up someone's network in a garage. I was 17, and I thought, this is more appreciation than home in a year. So I kept moving. When my sophomore laptop died and I asked for help, Dad said, "We just paid for Emily's MacBook. You'll figure it out. You always do." You always do. The family's favorite compliment disguised as a shrug. It stuck to my ribs. After college, I took the kind of entry-level job that pays you in experience and leftover coffee. Nights, I freelanced like a life raft. Bad scopes, late pay, impossible deadlines. I took them all. Slowly, painfully, the ledger bent my way. Then one morning that felt like a sunrise, I opened my own tech consulting firm. 3 rooms in a co-working maze, a desk I sanded myself from a Craigslist rescue, a wheezing espresso machine with more personality than pressure. It wasn't pretty, but it had one thing I never had before. My name on the door, Sandy Tuohy, founder. I took a photo of the frosted glass and posted it with a caption, 6 years in the making. My hands were shaking. I didn't want applause, I wanted witnesses. The screen lit, then cooled. After an hour, one notification. My mother. A single word comment. Nice. No call. No, we're proud of you. Not even an exclamation point. Nice. Like I'd posted toast. 2 days later, on Mom's Facebook. Candles, balloons, a congratulations banner, champagne flutes, and Emily in the center like she'd discovered gravity. Caption. So proud of our girl hitting 500 followers. Hashtag influencer in the family. The comments sparkled. Go Emily, you're a star. Meanwhile, her big sister opens a business and gets a lowercase shrug. I wasn't jealous. I was tired. The kind of tired that sits behind your eyes and watches you try to smile around it. That Friday, I was debugging a back-end gremlin and sipping coffee that tasted like apologies when my phone rang from an unknown number. Hi, is this Sandy Tuohy? This is she. This is Cheryl from Westbridge Lending. Just confirming the upcoming payment for the mortgage at 214 Grafton Lane. We noticed the last 2 payments were made through your account and wanted to confirm you'll continue this month. My brain stalled. Then, I'm sorry, what? She repeated it, patient and professional, like I'd forgotten my own name. That account shouldn't be in my name, I said. I helped once, temporarily. A beat, papers shuffling. According to our records, you've made regular payments for over 2 years. There it was, the invisible leash around my throat, pulled tight while I was busy proving I could breathe without it. It had started with a call from Dad during a rough patch. Just a month, honey. I'd landed a big freelance contract. I said yes. They were my parents. Pay me back when you can. They didn't. The second month, they didn't ask. The third, they thanked me without using the words. Soon I was a silent draft. The second of every month, a little ghost left my account to keep their house warm. I thanked Cheryl, she wasn't the enemy, and hung up. The office hum got loud, a fluorescent halo I usually tuned out. I thought about the winter I couldn't afford heat and coded under 2 blankets. The client who ran out of cash and paid me in gift cards. The night I fixed a server while sick because failure would throttle next month's rent. All that effort funneled into a house where my wins were met with nice, and my sister's lip gloss earned a banner. I stood and stared at the door again. Not the glass, my name, the proof that I'd built something that wouldn't apologize for existing. I didn't flip a table. I opened a spreadsheet. Blank cells looked back at me like a courtroom with infinite chairs. I pulled bank transfers, PayPal notes, the checks Dad deposited the hour before they'd bounce, that pity Venmo labeled groceries that mysteriously lined up with a spa weekend on Mom's feed. Date, amount, confirmation number, no rounding. I logged the night I covered overdue electric plus mortgage, $1,200 during Emily's Fairy Light birthday dinner, while I ate the last of my pasta because groceries had to wait. 2 hours later, the total glared up, $41,150, 776 cents. I laughed, the kind that keeps you from throwing a chair through glass. A second tab, collateral impact. The year I co-signed a temporary consolidation because Dad swore it was just paperwork. My score dropped 70 points. That mattered when I tried to lease better equipment. Third tab, emotional debt. Petty, sure. Real, absolutely. Missed graduation dinner. They were at Emily's brunch. Old laptop gifted to Emily because she needs it more. First business contract. No call. It stopped being a spreadsheet and started being a diary a younger me never had. When the math ended, the plan started. Not fireworks. Levers. I logged into the internet account I'd opened for them when their credit couldn't stomach another inquiry. Dad had said back then, "It's just Wi-Fi. You won't even notice." The bigger person notices everything. I clicked. Suspend service. No announcement. Let the buffering explain. By morning, 5 missed calls from Dad and 1 from Mom. A voicemail that was just breathing and a sigh. Classic. A text from Emily at noon. "Hey, Wi-Fi's down. Dad says you set it up. Can you fix PLA? Says no hi, no how are you, just expectation with glitter." I sent a screenshot of Emily's latest story. New designer purse with the caption, "Girl math. It's not expensive if it's cute." And replied, "Girl math is this Wi-Fi." Silence. I wasn't done. That night, I removed myself as emergency contact from the home insurance portal. I wasn't trying to hurt them. I was cutting a cord I should never have been tied to. Under the sarcasm and systems, there was still the kid who taped quiz scores to the fridge and watched Mom take them down to make space for Emily's finger paintings. That kid wasn't angry. She was disappointed. My phone lit again. Daniel. "You okay?" His voice was an anchor. He never rushed me. "Better than okay," he exhaled. "Then keep going, but be careful. Your dad might ask you to co-sign something temporary again." "I know." A pause. "And, Carissa watched your story." Carissa, his ex-girlfriend, had an appetite for mess, especially mine. "Let her watch," I said. "This is a documentary." A week of quiet followed, which in my family means scheming. Emily sent another text. "Kind of rude to ignore me, TBH. I'm your sister." Dad chimed in hours later. "A heads up would have been appropriate. If this is how you want to act, fine." Fine. The word people use when they mean, get back in line. I opened my banking app and stared at the automatic mortgage transfer, the polite ghost that left on the 2nd of every month. 1 tap. Cancel. The real move. The office felt bigger. My name on the door didn't change, but it sounded different in my chest. I wasn't seeking revenge. I was correcting an invoice that never should have been sent to me. 48 hours passed. Then the storm. Mom's text. "Did the mortgage payment not go through?" No hello. No are you well. Just plumbing questions, because the sink stopped producing money. I didn't respond. Instead, I typed an email to Cheryl at Westbridge. Subject. Update regarding payments for 214 Grafton Lane. Hi Cheryl, following our call, I will no longer be contributing to payments for the above property. Any prior payments were goodwill, not obligation. Please remove my contact details from future correspondence. Sandy Tuohy. Hit send. For the first time in years, I felt free. Not because a bill ended, because a story did. The one where I played the family's silent sponsor while my wins got lowercase. That's when I knew they'd show up. Not at home. At the one place they never applauded, but could no longer ignore, the office with my name on the door. By the time my parents finally noticed the missing money flow, I had already rehearsed my calm. The truth is, silence feels like peace until someone who's used to your compliance starts panicking. That Monday, I woke to 9 missed calls. 3 from Dad, 5 from Mom, 1 from Emily. No voicemails. They wanted me to call back first, to restore the hierarchy. Instead, I made breakfast, fed the cat, and walked out the door. I had clients to meet. Halfway through the day, Daniel texted me a photo of my mom's Facebook post. Family values are tested when one person forgets what family means. No names, but the subtext was neon. The comments were a predictable Greek chorus. Hope everything's okay. Prayers for peace. And one from someone named Carissa L., Daniel's ex. Some people just get too successful to remember who raised them. I didn't even flinch. That's how I knew I'd crossed the point of no return. That evening, I opened my laptop and the spreadsheet stared back at me. Clean, cold, honest. It wasn't just numbers. It was the map of how far I'd bent before breaking. So, I started phase 2. First, the Comcast account. I checked the usage logs. 6 devices still running under my name. Dad's smart TV, Mom's tablet, Emily's phone, 2 laptops, and a forgotten speaker in the kitchen. I hovered over the suspend service button again. 1 click. Confirmation email. Service paused until further notice. I knew exactly how it would unfold. Hour 1, they'd blame the router. Hour 2, Emily would post an Instagram story, Wi-Fi hates me. Hour 3, Mom would call the provider, only to learn the account holder's name, mine. The phone started ringing by hour 4. Sandy, Mom's voice was sugar-stretched thin. There's a mistake with the internet. Can you fix it? There's no mistake. What do you mean? I mean I'm not paying for it anymore. Silence, the kind where you can hear someone recalculating their tone. Sweetheart, you don't need to make a point this way. I'm not making a point, I said quietly. I'm fixing one. She hung up. That night, Emily texted again. Seriously? I have a brand collab deadline, Sandy. The least you can do is warn people. Warn people, like I was the utilities department. I typed, "You'll survive a night offline," then deleted it. Instead, I posted a photo of my office. Dim light, coffee mug, blue glow from the monitor. Caption, "Self-made isn't cute, but it's stable." I didn't tag anyone. Didn't have to. Mom viewed it in 4 minutes. No comment this time. For 3 days, the house stayed dark. Digitally, at least. I imagined Emily pacing between rooms, Dad restarting the modem, Mom sighing into the cordless phone. It wasn't revenge. It was education. By Thursday, Daniel called. "They've been asking around," he said. "Your dad called my office, Sandy. He said it was about a loan document." My jaw tightened. He what? He didn't say much. Just, he's getting desperate. He'll have to learn what desperate feels like. I learned it first. Daniel paused. Carissa's been stirring too. She left a comment under Emily's post saying something like, "Can't believe people forget who loved them first." Of course she did. Carissa always sniffed out family drama like blood in the water. Let her talk, I said. The truth has a longer shelf life. That night, I added a new tab to my spreadsheet. Fallout projections. It wasn't finance. It was emotional forecasting. How many days until the guilt calls turned to threats? Until Dad showed up at my office pretending to be calm? Until Emily weaponized her tears online? Answer. Soon. Friday afternoon proved me right. A message from Westbridge Lending popped up. Urgent, unsuccessful payment notice for 214 Grafton Lane. I didn't even open it. I just smiled and leaned back in my chair. If I'd learned anything from years of being the family's emergency fund, it's that silence unsettles people more than anger ever could. Anger they can fight. Silence they have to sit in. That weekend, I went hiking with Daniel. No phone signal, no notifications, no guilt bleeding through a screen. When we reached the overlook, the world looked clean again. He wrapped an arm around me. "You really doing this?" he asked. I nodded. For once in my life, I'm not the bailout. He smiled, proud, but cautious. Then don't let them buy their way back in with apologies. I won't, I said. Apologies don't pay interest. When we came back down, I turned my phone on. 43 missed calls, one voicemail from Dad. Sandy, call me back. We need to talk about this mortgage situation. This isn't how family acts. He was right. It wasn't how their kind of family acted. It was how an adult acted when she finally stopped being the family's silent investor. I scrolled past the missed calls and opened my spreadsheet again. At the top, I typed a new title, Cost of Being the Good Daughter. Then I closed the file, shut off my laptop, and exhaled. Because sometimes peace doesn't come with closure. Sometimes it comes with a suspended Wi-Fi signal and a full night's sleep. They showed up 3 days later, not at my apartment, at my office, the one place I kept sacred. I saw them on the security cam first. Mom clutching her purse like a prop, Dad standing beside her in that stiff, we're reasonable people posture he uses when he's about to corner someone. They were dressed too nicely for a casual visit. That's how I knew it was going to be a performance. I didn't get up when they came in, just looked up from my desk and said, "You found the place." Mom forced a smile. We were in the area. My office is 45 minutes away, tucked between an auto shop and a ramen place that smells like engine oil. Sure, they were just passing through. Dad cleared his throat. Figured we should talk face to face. They sat down without asking. The silence stretched like wet paint. Finally, Mom started with the tone she uses when she's rehearsed. We've been under a lot of pressure lately. I raised an eyebrow. Mortgage pressure? Her smile flickered. Dad jumped in. Your sister's been stressed. She's trying to grow her platform, and all this financial stuff just hit at a bad time. Ah, the Emily defense. I almost applauded. Then Mom added softly, "Do you think you might reconsider helping, just until we get things stabilized?" There it was, the line I'd been waiting for, the one that turned all those nice comments into currency. I leaned forward, elbows on the desk, calm. Mom, Dad, you didn't even say congratulations when I opened this firm. Mom blinked. We commented. Yes, I said. You wrote nice. One word. Like I posted a sandwich. They shifted uncomfortably. I wasn't angry, not anymore, but they needed to hear the truth from the daughter they'd mistaken for an ATM. For years, I gave you everything I had. Time, money, patience. You gave me crumbs. Not even crumbs. Silence. You threw parties for Emily's 500 followers, but ignored the business I built from scratch. Dad sighed. It's not that we don't care. Then show it, I interrupted, because I can't see it. For a moment, even the old air conditioner stopped humming. Mom finally whispered, "We didn't realize how much you were doing." I nodded. That's the point. You didn't care to realize. Dad leaned forward, desperate now. Sandy, we're still family. Family takes care of each other. Exactly, I said, standing up. And that's what I did. I took care of you while you celebrated someone else. I walked to the filing cabinet, pulled out a printed copy of the spreadsheet, and slid it across the desk. Payments made, $41,850, $7.76. Emotional debt, incalculable. They looked down at it like I'd handed them a crime scene photo. I'm not angry, I said quietly, but I'm done. Unless you plan to start treating me like more than a backup plan, this isn't a relationship. It's a transaction, and that transaction is closed. Mom's hand trembled as she reached for the paper, but I stopped her. That's my copy. Yours is in your email. They stood up slowly. Dad's jaw tightened. Mom's eyes glistened, but not with remorse, with insult. You really want to talk to us like clients? Dad asked. I met his gaze. No, clients pay their invoices. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. They left without another word. When the door clicked shut, I expected to feel empty. Instead, the silence felt clean. I sat back in my chair, heart steady, and stared at the door that said Sandy Tuohy, founder. That was the moment I realized I'd finally earned the right to my own peace. The quiet lasted exactly 6 days. Then came the next act. I was in the middle of a meeting when my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. I let it go to voicemail. Afterward, curiosity got the better of me. Hi, this is Jennifer from Wellsbury Mortgage. Is this Ms. Tuohy? My stomach sank. Again? We've been trying to reach Mr. Alan Tuohy, but haven't received a response. His name is primary on the account, but our records show your payment history for the past 26 months. Since payments have now lapsed, we're notifying all recent contributors. Lapsed, I repeated. Yes, ma'am, 2 months, February and March. They hadn't paid a single cent since I stopped. I thanked her, hung up, and let out a slow laugh. They'd built their stability on my silence, and the moment I cut the cord, the whole thing started sinking. 2 hours later, my dad called. No greeting, just, "Did you seriously just stop paying without telling us?" I leaned back. I told the mortgage company. "You didn't tell me. Because for the past 2 years, you didn't treat me like someone worth communicating with. Just someone you could invoice emotionally." Silence. Then, "You could have warned us." "So you could guilt me into one more month?" I asked. "Hope I'd cave again because Emily's stressed and Mom's trying to manifest a better year?" He said nothing. I didn't need him to. That night, I poured myself a glass of wine and opened my laptop. My inbox pinged. Mom this time. "We're trying to refinance. Your name is still tied to the credit file. Can we use you one more time, just to co-sign? We promise this is the last." That word again, promise. The same one Dad used when he said the consolidation loan was temporary. The same one Mom used when she borrowed my savings for Emily's dental work. The same one Emily used when she said she'd return my old laptop. I didn't reply. Instead, I updated my LinkedIn photo, a clean headshot at my desk, blazer sharp, sign behind me crisp, Sandy Tuohy, CEO. A few hours later, Emily texted, "Can you just sign one thing? You're being petty. This affects all of us." I stared at her message for a long time before replying. Exactly. Because for once it did. The following week, my phone became a guilt machine. Missed calls stacked like debt. Mom, Dad, Emily, then Mom again. The text shifted tones every few hours. Day 1, we just need to talk. Day 2, why would you do this to your own family? Day 3, after everything we've done for you. I could have written the script myself. Meanwhile, the mortgage company confirmed what I already suspected. The house at 214 Grafton Lane was officially in default. The irony burned. Years of my income had kept that roof upright, but 2 unpaid months exposed everything I'd been covering. By Friday, I was almost numb to it, until Daniel knocked on my office door holding his phone. "Sandy, you need to see this." He showed me Emily's latest Instagram story, a dimly lit candle, sad music, and a caption that read, "Some people only care when the money stops. Family is supposed to be forever. # disappointed." And the comments were rolling in. "You don't deserve this, girl." Cut her off completely. And right on cue, Carissa chimed in. "It's sad when success makes people forget who really supported them first." Daniel muttered, "She's fishing." Carissa always was. She had dated Daniel years ago and never really left his orbit. Every few months, she'd pop up with an indirect message or a conveniently timed rumor. Now she had found a way to insert herself into my family chaos. I smirked. Let her. Everyone's addicted to the drama until they're the subject line. Still, I couldn't stop thinking about Emily's story. Not the words, her expression. The same theatrical pout she'd use when she got grounded at 16, except this time, the tantrum had a filter. That weekend, I did something new. Nothing. I cooked, slept in, and ignored the vibrating phone on my counter. Peace has a strange texture when you've lived your life in crisis. It's not silence, it's absence. But peace never lasts in a house built on manipulation. Monday morning, while reviewing project proposals, my phone lit again. Dad. I ignored it. Then again, then again. Finally, Daniel sighed. Maybe pick up before they show up in person again. So I did. Dad didn't waste time. Sandy, do you understand what you've done? We can't refinance because your name is still connected to the credit file. We need you to co-sign the papers again. Just this once. There it was. The last promise. I leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. You said that last time, Dad. This is different. We're trying to save the family home. You are trying, I corrected. I already did. For 2 years. He sighed heavily. You're being unreasonable. You know they won't approve us without your credit. You have the better score. That's because I stopped letting people use it. Silence crackled through the line. Then Mom's voice joined in. She must have been on speaker. Sweetheart, don't make this harder than it needs to be. It's just paperwork. That phrase again. Just paperwork. The exact words Dad used when I first co-signed his consolidation loan, the one that cratered my score by 70 points. Paperwork is how people lose houses, I said flatly. Or in my case, lose respect. You're overreacting, Mom snapped, her sugar tone finally dissolving. We raised you better than this. No, I said quietly. You raised me to pay for things. She gasped. Dad muttered something under his breath about entitlement. I almost laughed. Entitlement? I've funded your mortgage longer than Emily's had followers. Don't bring your sister into this. She's been in this since the first balloon you blew up for her 500-follower party. The line went dead. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I just set the phone down and finished my coffee. Some endings don't require fireworks. They end like a door closing softly after years of being left open. Later that night, Daniel found me still at my desk. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "I think I finally understand what freedom costs." He smiled. "Cheaper than 41,000. "Barely," I murmured. The next morning, my phone buzzed again. But this time, it wasn't family. It was a notification from LinkedIn. "Alan Tuohy viewed your profile." I nearly laughed out loud. Of course he did. Maybe he wanted to check if his ungrateful daughter was still employable. Or maybe he was planning his next move. 2 hours later, confirmation arrived. Mom again. "We're really trying to refinance. The bank says your name would help. Please, Sandy, it's only this once. We promise this is the last." Promise. That cursed word, wrapped in guilt. This time I didn't even reply. I just changed my LinkedIn banner to a photo of my new office space. Ribbon cutting in progress. Sign clear and proud. Sandy Tuohy, CEO. By noon, Emily's post count dropped to 0. She'd gone quiet online, probably licking her wounds or prepping her next guilt trip. That night, Daniel scrolled through his phone and said, "They're spiraling, huh?" I nodded. "They can spiral without me. I'm finally done being their gravity." When I went to sleep, I dreamed of something simple. Silence. No calls, no numbers, no invoices labeled family. The peace didn't come cheap, but it came honest. And that for me was priceless. 3 quiet weeks passed. That's how I knew the calm wasn't real. In my family, silence is just a loading screen for the next manipulation. It was a Wednesday morning when my phone finally lit up again. This time, not with calls, but with the faint red glow of the family group chat I hadn't opened in months. The preview lines said everything. "Emily, you knew, didn't you?" Dad, "Why would you let it get this far?" Mom, "We trusted you, Sandy." I didn't open it. Didn't need to. The words were familiar, recycled from every guilt campaign they'd ever launched. Only this time I wasn't subscribed. Instead, I scrolled through my calendar reminder for the day. Office number 2 grand opening, 11 o'clock a.m. New city, new clients, new start. When I arrived at the building, a thin white ribbon stretched across the glass door. The sign gleamed. TUI Tech Consulting. Independent. Self-funded. Self-made. Someone handed me scissors. Cameras flashed. The ribbon fell. And just like that, I was free. Not just financially, but emotionally. After the ceremony, I stood outside with Daniel, the late sun catching in his hair. "You know," he said, "if your parents saw this, maybe they'd finally understand." I smiled. "They'd probably ask me to help pay for the gas it took to drive here." He laughed, low and warm. "Then it's their loss. You built something real." I nodded, eyes on the sign. I built it because they never believed I could. That night, I got home exhausted and happy, in a way I hadn't been since childhood. I opened my laptop to save the event photos and froze. New email. Subject line, urgent, mortgage account review. Sender, Wellsbury Lending. I clicked. It was a standard notice. Foreclosure proceedings pending due to non-payment. But what made me pause wasn't the content. It was the CC list. My name was still there. Even after my email to Cheryl, even after all the detachment, they still hadn't removed me. I sighed, a final ghost to exercise. 5 minutes later, I sent another message, polite and crisp. "Dear Wellsbury Lending, please confirm permanent removal of my name and contact information from any and all accounts associated with 214 Grafton Lane. I am not, and have never been, a legal owner of the property. Regards, Sandy Tuohy." Then I sat back. Done for real this time. The next day, I ran into something I didn't expect. As I left a cafe downtown, I saw my parents across the street, standing under a dim awning, talking to a man in a suit. Dad's arms moved sharply. Mom kept adjusting her scarf, avoiding his eyes. The man nodded, like someone delivering bad news. They looked older, smaller. They didn't see me, and I didn't wave. For a moment, the old instinct tugged. Cross the street, fix it, save them. But then I heard Dad's voice float across traffic. "She used to help. I don't know what happened." I smiled sadly. I knew exactly what happened. I stopped being their silent sponsor. I stopped being the walking receipt for their bad choices. I stopped mistaking survival for love. That evening, over dinner with Daniel and my team, I paid the entire bill. Not out of guilt, out of choice, because giving by choice feels nothing like giving by obligation. As we walked out, my phone buzzed one last time, the family group chat. Mom, we're meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. You could have told us before it came to this. Emily, you really don't care if we lose the house, do you? Dad, we trusted you. For a long moment, I stared at the screen. Then, with one simple gesture, I pressed leave group. No announcement, no grand speech, just gone. Like all the times I quietly left the dinner table after paying for everyone else's meal. Like when I left home before dawn to work double shifts while Emily slept in. Like when I left behind the girl who thought nice was enough. This time I didn't look back. A notification popped up from Daniel a few minutes later. Everything okay? I typed back. Everything's perfect. Then I locked my phone, stepped outside into the night air, and breathed. For the first time, my silence wasn't surrender. It was peace. So when people ask me now, do you still talk to your family? I just smile and say, we used to share a mortgage, that's all.